The words hit like a freight train barreling through the heart of Chicago's relentless wind, shattering the fragile illusion of family in an instant. "You're a failure, Alex, a goddamn disappointment to everything I've built," Richard Harlan snarled, his voice echoing off the cold steel girders of the family office tower, where floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city's indifferent sprawl. In that moment, as rain lashed the glass like accusations, 22-year-old Alex felt the ground crumble beneath him, his secret love for another man no longer a whisper in the dark, but a chasm swallowing his father's empire whole. Alex Harlan had always chased shadows in his father's towering wake, the heir apparent to Harlan Steelworks, a Chicago steel behemoth forged in the fires of Rust Belt grit and unyielding ambition. Richard, with his iron jaw and ledger-sharp eyes, had molded his only son like molten metal, pounding away softness, demanding perfection in boardrooms and balance sheets. But beneath the tailored suits and late-night mergers, Alex harbored a truth that burned hotter than any forge. He loved men, fiercely, with a passion that made his chest ache like a bellows gone wild. It started innocently enough, stolen glances at college mixers, a brush of fingers with a barista named Theo who smelled of espresso and rebellion. But when Richard walked in on Alex and Theo tangled in a desperate kiss in the guest room of their Lake Shore Drive penthouse, the explosion was biblical. "You're throwing away your legacy for this." Richard's face twisted, veins bulging like rebar under strain, as he hurled the accusation that would scar deeper than any scar from the mill floors. Theo bolted, shirt half-buttoned, leaving Alex exposed, raw, his heart pounding a dirge against the opulent walls lined with awards and ancestral portraits, ghosts of Harlans who never bent. Alex stood there, breath ragged, tasting salt on his lips that wasn't just from tears. "Dad, it's not a choice. It's me. All of me." But Richard turned away, his back a fortress, muttering about weakness, about how the Harlan name couldn't afford such fractures in a world of cutthroat deals and shareholder scrutiny. The fallout cascaded like a mill collapse. By dawn, Alex was packing a duffel in the marble-floored foyer, the city awakening beyond the windows in a symphony of horns and ambition he suddenly despised. Richard didn't stop him. Worse, he didn't look back. "Go then. Prove you're not the waste I see." The door clicked shut behind Alex like a vault ceiling shut, and he stepped into the biting October chill of Chicago, the windy city's gusts whipping his coat like a flag of surrender. He crashed on Theo's couch in Wicker Park, a bohemian enclave of murals and dive bars, where the air hummed with queer possibility and the faint tang of weed from neighboring lofts. Theo, with his easy smile and tattooed forearms, tried to mend the breaks. Nights of whispered affections under threadbare quilts, bodies mapping forgiveness in the dim glow of string lights. But the wound festered. Theo's patience frayed under Alex's silences, the way he'd stare at the ceiling replaying his father's venom. 3 months in, Theo packed his own bag. "I love you, Alex, but you're drowning in him. Come up for air, or you'll pull us both under." Alone again, Alex wandered the labyrinth of the city, a ghost in his own skin. He bounced through temp gigs, bartending at underground clubs where drag queens spun tales of reinvention, loading crates at warehouses that echoed his family's legacy, but offered no nameplate. The steel in his veins called him back, but pride was a sharper blade. One rainy evening, nursing a cheap whiskey in a Logan Square speakeasy, he overheard a cluster of tech bros griping about supply chain snarls in the auto industry. Harlan Steelworks' shadow loomed large, but whispers of rust and outdated mills hinted at cracks. An idea sparked, fragile as a match in the wind. What if he could disrupt the old guard? Not with hammers, but with code and cunning. By spring, Alex had scraped together a prototype, SteelSync, an AI-driven platform for predictive forging, optimizing waste, and predicting market dips with eerie precision. He coded it in stolen hours at a public library, fueled by black coffee and the ache of invisibility. Investors laughed him off at first. "Kid, you got the Harlan jaw, but none of the grit. Steel's for suits, not startups." Rejection piled like slag, but each no hardened him, forging a resolve his father could never touch. He moved to a shared loft in Pilsen, murals of Aztec warriors watching over his sleepless nights, surrounded by artists who saw his queerness not as flaw, but fire. There, amid the scent of fresh paint and corn tortillas from the taqueria below, Alex met Jordan Reyes. Jordan was a force, 25, with warm brown skin, cropped black hair that curled defiantly at the edges, and eyes like polished obsidian that held stories of his own. A Mexican-American graphic designer moonlighting as a queer activist, Jordan volunteered at a youth center, sketching murals that turned walls into windows of acceptance. They collided at a Pride after-party in a converted warehouse, bodies swaying to pulsing electronica, rainbow flags draping like veils. Alex, tipsy on tequila and tentative hope, bumped into Jordan mid-dance, spilling a drink that led to laughter instead of apology. "Smooth," Jordan teased, his voice a low rumble over the bass, wiping suds from his vintage band tee. "But I've seen worse entrances." What started as flirtation bloomed into something seismic. Jordan didn't pry into Alex's silences. He filled them with sketches of fantastical beasts, dragons with feathers, wolves in heels, reminding Alex that strength wore many skins. Their first real date was a picnic under the bean in Millennium Park, Jordan unpacking tamales wrapped in banana leaves, the mirrored sculpture warping their reflections into infinite possibilities. "Tell me your monsters," Jordan said, his hand tracing Alex's knuckles, calloused from keyboard wars. And Alex did, pouring out the Harlan legacy, the epithet of failure, the love that dared not speak in boardrooms. Jordan listened, not with pity, but with a fire that mirrored Alex's own. "Failure? Nah, that's just the world's way of saying you're too big for their boxes." That night, under a sky stitched with stars, they kissed, slow, deliberate, a reclamation of space stolen by judgment. But romance was no shield against reality's grind. Steel Sink teetered on fumes. Alex's savings dwindled to ramen rations. Jordan's freelance dried up amid a recession's bite, forcing him to sling lattes at a hipster cafe. Tensions simmered, arguments over unpaid bills echoing like distant thunder, Alex snapping when Jordan suggested reaching out to Richard for a loan. He'd sooner burn the company than help me. Yet in the quiet hours, they'd tangle in sheets scented with sage from Jordan's smudging rituals, bodies a language of absolution. Jordan's touch was a map to uncharted territories, fingers tracing the curve of Alex's spine, lips murmuring affirmations in Spanglish poetry. "Eries mi soul, mi estrella, my everything." For the first time, Alex felt seen, not as Harlan's shadow, but as light bending toward its own dawn. Word of Steel Sink trickled into venture circles, a whisper at a South Side tech mixer where Alex pitched with sweat-slick palms. A grizzled VC named Elena Vasquez, with a no-nonsense bob and a history of betting on underdogs, bit. "Your algo's got teeth, kid, but can you bite back?" She fronted seed money, enough for a skeleton team in a co-working space overlooking the Calumet River, where freighters groaned like old regrets. Alex assembled misfits, a non-binary coder from Detroit with a penchant for punk rock, a queer accountant who'd fled corporate toxicity. They toiled through all-nighters, fueled by pizza and Jordan's care packages of empanadas, the loft pulsing with code and camaraderie. As Steel Sink scaled, so did the shadows of the past. Harlan Steelworks faltered, global tariffs, supply gluts, Richard's stubborn refusal to digitize. Whispers reached Alex via industry rags. Layoffs, stock dips, the patriarch's empire cracking like overtaxed beams. Guilt gnawed, a rust Alex couldn't code away. Jordan sensed it, pulling him close one stormy evening as thunder rattled the windows. "You're not him anymore, but you can be better." Their love deepened in those tempests, passionate, urgent, a counterpoint to the world's tempests. Jordan proposed a mural for the office, a phoenix rising from steel shards, wings unfurled in rainbow hues. It became their talisman. By summer swelter, Steel Sink wasn't just surviving. It was surging, contracts rolling in from Detroit automakers hungry for efficiency in an electric dawn. Alex's days blurred into a rhythm of demos and deadlines, his nights a sanctuary in Jordan's arms, where vulnerability was currency, not curse. But the call came like a siren in the fog, a terse voicemail from Richard's assistant. "Your father's requesting a meeting regarding potential collaboration." Alex's stomach twisted, replaying that bridge confrontation years prior, the rain mingling with his sobs as he vowed never to look back. Jordan found him pacing the loft, phone clutched like a grenade. "Go," Jordan urged, his dark eyes steady as Lake Michigan. "Not for him, for you. Close the circle, or it'll choke you forever." The Harlan Tower loomed unchanged, a monolith of glass and grudge on Michigan Avenue, where doormen nodded with feigned warmth. Richard waited in the oak-paneled boardroom, older now at 52, crow's feet deepening the lines of perpetual strain, his suit hanging looser on a frame winnowed by stress. No embrace, just a curt handshake, the air thick with unsaid indictments. Heard about your little app. Impressive for what it is. The word little landed like shrapnel, but Alex held his ground, spine straight as rebar. They talked numbers. SteelSync's integration could modernize Harlan's mills, slashing waste by 30%. Richard's eyes flickered with calculation, not pride. This could save us. But terms, you come back. Full-time. Under my roof. It was a velvet trap, reconciliation laced with control. Alex's pulse thrummed, memories flooding. Childhood summers at the Gary plant. Richard's rare laugh over a perfect weld. The boy who'd worshipped that titan. But the boy was gone, replaced by a man who'd clawed his way from couch surfing to corner office. No, Dad. Partnership, not prodigal return. Or nothing. Richard's face darkened, the old thunder brewing. Still that stubborn streak. Fine. Draw up the papers. But don't think this erases everything. The ellipsis hung heavy, a ghost of failure, unspoken but screaming. Back in Pilsen, Alex unburdened to Jordan over shared plates of pozole, steam curling like confessions. He looked broken, Jay, like the weight of it all is crushing him. Jordan's hand covered his, thumb stroking a rhythm of calm. And you? What's it crushing in you? That night, their lovemaking was fierce, a storm of need and nurture. Jordan's body arching under Alex's, gasps mingling with rain pattering the roof, a ritual of reclaiming power. In the afterglow, Jordan sketched idly on Alex's chest, hearts intertwined with circuit boards. Whatever comes, we're the upgrade. Unbreakable. The deal ink dried amid fanfare. A joint presser at the economic club, flashes popping like Judgment Day. Alex stood shoulder to shoulder with Richard, Jordan in the wings, his smile a beacon. But beneath the handshakes, fissures formed. Harlan execs chafed at the upstart's influence, leaking doubts to trade pubs. Harlan blood's gone soft. Richard's barbs sharpened in private huddles. Your distractions are showing, son. Code for the rainbow pin on Alex's lapel, the quiet mentions of Jordan in strategy calls. Alex pushed back, implementing SteelSync's full suite, watching output soar while egos deflated. Jordan became his anchor, hosting team-building barbecues in their sun-dappled courtyard, where laughter drowned out the city's roar. Yet ambition's fire forges foes. A rival firm, Apex Alloys from Pittsburgh, smelled blood, poaching Harlan talent with fat bonuses, spreading rumors of embezzlement tied to Alex's unorthodox hires. The boardroom turned battlefield, Richard's allies circling like vultures. One evening, as Alex reviewed falsified ledgers in the loft, Jordan arrived with takeout and trepidation. Babe, there's talk. Protests at the youth center. Bigots calling us Harlan puppets for taking the deal. Alex's world tilted, his rise, meant to uplift, now painted targets. They argued, voices rising over the clatter of chopsticks. Alex defensive, Jordan wounded. I'm fighting for us, for everyone like us. But at what cost? You're vanishing into that tower, Michigan Vita. Reconciliation came in the small hours, apologies whispered against skin, bodies realigning like tectonic plates. Jordan's forgiveness was a grace Alex didn't deserve, their intimacy a bridge over chasms, slow explorations by candlelight. Jordan's laughter bubbling as Alex traced constellations on his back. See that? Orion's belt, your ambition. But here's Cassiopeia, my heart, holding you steady. Strengthened, Alex dove deeper, uncovering Apex's sabotage, hacked servers, bribed insiders. He rallied his team, nights blurring into a war room haze. Jordan's murals now battle standards. The counterstrike was surgical, SteelSync's analytics exposing the fraud, a whistleblower flip courtesy of Elena's old contacts. Headlines blared, Harlan airfoils corporate coup. Richard summoned Alex to the penthouse, the same foyer of exile, but this time with scotch poured, eyes meeting without armor. You saved it. Us. The words cracked something ancient, tears tracing Richard's cheeks like rivulets on steel. Alex's throat tightened. I didn't do it for you. For me. For the kid you called failure. Richard reached out, hand trembling on Alex's shoulder. I was wrong. Scared. Of losing the name. Losing you. It wasn't absolution, but a fracture mending, tentative as first light. As autumn leaves turned gold, Jordan proposed under the same bean, ring simple, steel band etched with circuits and feathers. Build empires with me, Alex. Not against them. Yes came easy, a vow sealed with a kiss that tasted of forever. Harlan Steelworks thrived, rebranded with inclusive initiatives, pride flags fluttering beside the stars and stripes. Alex, no longer shadow, stood tall, CEO in his own right, Jordan at his side, their love the true legacy. But legacies, like steel, bend under pressure, and the real forge awaited in the board's hidden machinations. Whispers turned to plots. Richard's old guard, loyalists from the union-busting days, viewed Alex's reforms, diversity quotas, green tech pivots, as dilutions of the Harlan ethos. He's turning us into a rainbow factory, sneered Victor Kane, CFO with a paunch and a grudge, nursing bourbon in smoke-filled dens off Wabash. They maneuvered in shadows, doctoring reports to inflate Steel Sync's costs, painting Alex as a dilettante propped by his lover's distractions. Jordan caught wind first, scrolling agitator forums on his tablet during a slow shift at the cafe. They're gunning for you, Amor. Calling Jordan the queer liability in anonymous tips to the board. Rage boiled in Alex, hot as billet in the hearth, but Jordan tempered it with wisdom honed from street protests and family disownments. Don't swing wild. Document. Expose. They became a war council in the loft. Jordan's design, spotting patterns in the leaks. IP traces leading to Kane's home office. Nights stretched, their intimacy a refuge amid the siege. Jordan's hands kneading knots from Alex's shoulders, lips trailing fire down his chest, murmurs of "you're enough," grounding him against the storm. Love, in those moments, was revolution, bodies entwined, breaths sinking like algorithms finding harmony, a defiant yes to existence. The board meeting convened in December's bite, snow veiling the loop in deceptive peace. Richard chaired, gaunt from chemo whispers Alex had ignored, prostate, aggressive, the old man's armor cracking. Alex presented data, voice steady, Steel Sync's ROI at 250%, new contracts from Tesla's battery boom. Applause rippled, but Kane struck, unveiling evidence, inflated invoices, witnesses claiming Alex's personal entanglements compromised judgment. The room chilled. I slid to Alex, then away. Richard's face paled, fist clenching the gavel. Baseless. Retract. Kane smirked. Or the shareholders see the full file, including indiscretions. The word dripped venom, implying scandal, outing veiled as leverage. Alex's vision tunneled, the echo of failure roaring back. He stood, heart hammering. Indiscretions? You mean love? Jordan's not a liability. He's my strength. And these forgeries? Traced to your VPN? Victor. Care to explain? Gasps echoed as Alex projected the logs. Jordan's late-night forensics shining like spotlights. Chaos erupted. Kane sputtering. Richard slamming the gavel. Security hauling the traitor out amid flashes from summoned press. In the aftermath, Richard pulled Alex aside in the empty boardroom, city lights fracturing through frost-laced panes. You handled that like a Harlan. Better. A cough racked him, hand pressing his side. Alarm spiked. Alex demanded details. Stage 3, Richard confessed, voice gravel. Didn't want pity, or to seem weak. The revelation gutted Alex. Years of silence, now this. He drove them to the penthouse, Jordan waiting with herbal teas and quiet resolve. That night, as Richard slept under morphine haze, Alex and Jordan curled on the terrace, Chicago's heartbeat below. He's dying, Jay. And I don't know how to forgive fast enough. Jordan's embrace was ironwood strong. Forgiveness isn't a race. It's the work. Like us. The vigil stretched, holidays bleeding into gray January. Jordan bridged worlds, charming Richard with sketches of a revitalized Gary Mill, solar panels blooming like lotuses amid smokestacks. Richard grumbled at first, but softened, sharing tales of his own youth. A closeted fling with a mill hand in the 80s, buried under ambition's weight. Thought burying it made me strong. Made me a monster instead. The admission cracked open floodgates. Alex wept for the boy his father might have been, the man he could yet become. Their bond mended in fragments. Chess games by the sickbed. Richard's knight sacrificing for Alex's queen, metaphors unspoken. Meanwhile, Steel Sync propelled Harlan into the future, acquisitions stacking like victories. A sustainable foundry in Milwaukee, partnerships with queer-led startups. Alex's profile rose, Forbes 30 under 30, panels on inclusive innovation where he spoke unapologetically of Jordan, their hands linked in photos that shattered glass ceilings. But cancer's shadow lengthened. Richard weakened, confessions spilling like coolant from a breach. I called you failure because I feared you'd outshine me. And you did. Alex squeezed his hand, pulse faint. Not outshine. Evolve. For both of us. Jordan's presence anchored the maelstrom, his love a constant current, stolen moments in hospital corridors, fingers interlaced, kisses tasting of antiseptic and hope. "We're rewriting the story," he'd whisper, eyes fierce. One blizzard night, as Richard rallied for a scan, they made love in the guest room, urgent and tender, bodies a bulwark against grief. Jordan's cries muffled in Alex's neck, release a catharsis, reaffirming life's pulse amid death's approach. Spring teased with crocuses when Richard's decline steepened. The board, purged of vipers, voted unanimously. Alex, interim CEO. He accepted, not as crown, but caretaking. In Richard's final days, under hospice sheets in the penthouse, father and son talked legacy. Not steel, but spirit. "Buy it all, son. Make it yours." Proudly. Richard's eyes, dimming, held peace. He slipped away at dawn, Chicago awakening to birdsong, the river reflecting a sky washed clean. Grief's forge tempered Alex into something unyielding yet supple, like alloyed titanium, stronger for the impurities burned away. The will reading in the tower's solarium confirmed it. Richard's shares, the majority stake, left to Alex in trust, with a codicil, redeem what I fractured. Executors murmured of auctions, vultures circling the carcass, but Alex saw opportunity in the ossuary. With Jordan's counsel, ever the strategist behind the sketches, he plotted acquisition, not conquest. Steel sinks coffers, swollen from deals, funded buyouts of minority holders, Elena Vasquez leading the charge with her sharp grin. "This isn't revenge, kid. It's renaissance." The transition was a gauntlet. Execs tested boundaries, suppliers balked at woke mandates, media dissected the gay heirs' every move. Alex leaned into it, rebranding Harlan as Horizon Forge, slogan, "Bending Tomorrow." Initiatives bloomed. Apprenticeships for LGBTQ+ youth from Southside projects. Mills retrofitted for carbon capture. Jordan's murals adorning factory walls like declarations of defiance. Their home, a brownstone in Ukrainian village bought with first profits, became a haven. Kitchen alive with Jordan's pozole simmering. Evenings on the stoop watching fireflies duel with street lamps. Love, too, evolved. Engaged now, they planned a wedding in the Indiana dunes, waves lapping vows under dune grass. But commitment unearthed depths. Jordan's visa woes, his artist visa expiring amid backlogs, threatening deportation to a Mexico he'd fled for safety. "I came for dreams, stayed for you," he confessed one night, vulnerability cracking his bravado. Alex fought bureaucracies, lawyers tangling red tape, their intimacy a lifeline. Passions reignited in the brownstone's clawfoot tub, water sloshing as Jordan straddled him, eyes locked in wordless pledge. "No borders for us," Alex gasped, climax a shared defiance. Corporate thorns pricked deeper. A whistleblower from the old guard leaked doctored emails, twisted to imply Alex funneled funds to personal causes, code for queer charities. Stock dipped 5 points overnight. Analysts bang for blood. The boardroom siege replayed, but Alex was primed. Forensic audits, public rebuttals, a primetime interview where he and Jordan sat entwined, unashamed. Love isn't a line item. It's the core. Viewership spiked, allies mobilized, protests at NYSE, hashtags trending Forge Pride. Horizon's shares rebounded, stronger, investors praising the human edge. Yet isolation crept. Alex's hours ballooned, Jordan's design sidelined for solo gigs. Resentment simmered, boiling over during a gala at the Art Institute. Alex schmoozing donors, Jordan cornered by snide whispers. Pretty arm candy for the mogul. Back home, words flew like sparks. "You're erasing me, Alex. The man who loved the broke coder, not this suit." Alex recoiled, stung. "I'm building for us, for the family we want." Jordan's eyes flashed hurt. Family? Or empire? The door slammed, silence a chasm. Reconciliation dawned raw. Alex found Jordan at the youth center, chalk in hand, guiding teens in a mural of intertwined roots, queer family trees. "I see you," Alex said, kneeling in pigment dust. "All of you. Forgive my blindness." Jordan's tears mixed with chalk, their embrace gritty, real. That night, they rebuilt, slow, exploratory lovemaking on the center's rooftop, city sprawl below, stars above, bodies rediscovering rhythms lost to haste. Jordan's moans a mantra, "Te amo, siempre." Dawn found them entwined, renewed. The visa battle peaked in summer's heat. A congressional ally, moved by Alex's advocacy, fast-tracked green card. Celebrations spilled into the streets. Dinner at a Lincoln Park bistro, toasts with mezcal, dances in the living room till sweat slicked. Jordan's ring glinted, a promise etched in gold and grit. Horizon flourished, expansions to solar steel in Arizona, partnerships with indigenous fabricators. Alex mentored at the center, sharing his arc, from Failure's brand to Phoenix Flight. But echoes lingered. Richard's empty chair at board meetings, a photo of them fishing on Lake Calumet, young Alex beaming. Jordan filled voids, his sketches now corporate logos. Horizons bending, not breaking. Their wedding approached, invites blending steelworkers and artists, a union of worlds. In quiet moments, Alex traced Jordan's jaw, gratitude swelling. You saved me first. Jordan smiled, fierce. We save each other. Always. As autumn waned, a final trial loomed. Apex Alloys, unbowed, launched a hostile bid. Kane's shadow puppeteering from prison bars. The war room reformed, Alex at helm, Jordan diagramming attack vectors on napkins. Allies rallied. Unions, VCs, even Richard's old rival turned confidant. The bid crumbled under scrutiny, Horizon emerging dominant, acquiring Apex's scraps for pennies. The wedding dawned golden over the dunes. Lake Michigan's waves a coral backdrop to vows exchanged on sands etched with footprints of lovers past. Alex, in a linen suit the color of storm clouds, gazed at Jordan, radiant in a embroidered guayabera, flowers woven into his curls like crowns of defiance. In a world that tried to bend us, you showed me straightens only the weak, Alex murmured, ring sliding onto Jordan's finger, cool metal warming in promise. Jordan's eyes shimmered. And you, me Ray, turned failure to flight. Together, we soar. Guests, mill hands in flannel, artists in flair, Elena toasting with tequila shots, cheered as they kissed, salt air mingling with tears of joy. It was more than ceremony. It was covenant, queer and unyielding, against a skyline of dunes that whispered of resilience. Honeymoon in the Smokies blurred into bliss. Cabins scented pine, trails hand in hand, nights of unhurried exploration under quilted stars. Jordan's body, familiar yet ever new, mapped pleasures anew. Fingers teasing thresholds, lips charting gasps, their union a symphony of give and take. This is home. Jordan breathed, spent and sated, head on Alex's chest. Back in Chicago, the brownstone awaited, walls adorned with their mural, now a living archive, layers added for each milestone. Horizon pulsed with postnuptial vigor. Alex's vision crystallized in the Harlan Reyes Initiative, scholarships for underrepresented STEM queer youth, Mills hosting Pride Welds where hammers rang like anthems. But peace, like calm seas, precedes gales. Whispers from the fringes grew roars, a far-right conglomerate, vanguard purity, spearheaded by a televangelist scion named Harlan. Ironic twist, lobbied against Horizon's degenerate contracts, citing federal purity clauses in defense bids. Boycotts hit, stocks wobbled, pickets snarled Gary Gates with slurs scrawled on placards. Alex's inbox flooded with hate, death threats veiled as scripture, doxing Jordan's family in Guadalajara. Fear coiled, nights sleepless, Jordan's hand in his talisman against phantoms. They fortified, security upgrades, PR blitzes framing Horizon as American innovation incarnate. Jordan channeled fury into activism, organizing counter-rallies at Daly Plaza, his speeches firebrands. Purity? That's the rust we scrape off to shine. Alex joined, voice amplified by CEO Cloud, but the toll mounted, arguments over risks, Jordan's visa stability now a shield turned sword. One tempestuous evening, as hail pelted windows, Jordan snapped. You're playing hero, but we're targets. For what? A name that hated you. Alex lashed back. For the kids like us. The ones Richard ignored. Silence fell, heavy as fallout, Jordan retreating to the studio, brushes slashing canvases bloody. Mending came circuitous, Alex commissioning a piece for the tower lobby, a triptych of bending steel into hearts, roots, wings. Jordan unveiled it tear-streaked. It's us. Fractured, fused. Their reconciliation was visceral, making love on the studio floor amid paint splatters, bodies slick with color and sweat, Jordan's thrusts a punctuation of pardon. No more alone, Alex vowed, release crashing like waves. Dawn brought strategy, allying with civil rights heavyweights, lobbying Capitol Hill where Elena's Rolodex opened doors. The showdown crested in spring hearings, DC's cherry blossoms mocking the tension. Alex testified, Jordan at his flank, recounting rejection to redemption. My father called me failure for loving as I do. Now his company lifts thousands who love the same. Purity isn't exclusion, it's evolution. Sound bites went viral. Vanguard's facade crumbling under scrutiny. Hypocrite donors exposed, bids withdrawn. Horizon secured the contracts, shares soaring, pickets dissolving into dust. Triumph tempered maturity. Alex delegated more, reclaiming evenings for Jordan's gallery openings, where abstracts of their love, swirls of azure and crimson, drew crowds. They mentored a cohort of young queer entrepreneurs, loft sessions blending code and canvas, fostering a lineage beyond blood. Richard's portrait hung in the boardroom now, eyes softer in oil, a reminder of grace earned. Yet shadows lingered. Jordan's fertility dreams surfacing, whispers of surrogacy amid Horizon's fertility benefits for all. Alex, once adrift, now anchored, embraced the unknown. Our family, whatever shape, will be unbreakable. Picnics in Jackson Park bloomed with plans, laughter lightening loads. As summer crested, a letter arrived, yellowed, from Richard's safe, a draft apology, unsent, penned post-diagnosis. Son, I failed you. But watching you rise, I see my redemption in your light. Tears blurred ink. Alex framed it beside their rings. Horizon's annual gala that fall honored failures forged. Jordan emceeing, Alex toasting. To loves that bend worlds. Surrogacy's path unfurled like a blueprint redrawn, equal parts hope and hurdle. They chose Elena's niece, Maya, a vibrant 28-year-old doula from the Southwest, with a laugh like wind chimes and a backstory of chosen families. Consults in sunlit clinics blended joy with jargon. IVF cycles, genetic screens, the miracle of science scripting dreams. Jordan's excitement was electric, sketching nurseries with cacti motifs and steel mobiles. Alex's quieter, laced with ghosts of unlived paternities under Richard's roof. What if I'm him? He confessed one twilight jog along the lakefront, waves gnashing like doubts. Jordan halted, hands cupping his face. You're you. That's the gift. The pregnancy took on first try, a heartbeat flutter on ultrasound binding them triply. Horizon adapted, paternity leave policies expanded, Alex modeling vulnerability in memos. Strength is sharing the load. But external tempests brewed anew. A recession loomed, tariffs redux slashing steel demand, suppliers folding like bad hands. Vanguard's remnants funneled dark money into smears, ads decrying Horizon's family experiments as fiscal folly. Stocks plunged 10%, board jitters fracturing alliances. Alex navigated the narrows, pivoting to resilient alloys for renewables, wind turbine frames, EV chassis, securing grants from green funds. Jordan, belly swelling with Maya's gift, became muse and motivator, his designs reimagining Horizon's branding, fluid lines evoking growth, not rigidity. Their intimacy adapted, gentle, inventive, Jordan guiding Alex's hands over the curve of creation, whispers of future lullabies amid soft peaks. Feel that? Our kickstart. Nights, they'd lie with ears to the bump, dreaming names, Luca for light, Riley for wild. Crisis crested in autumn gales, a key mill in Joliet idled by floods, losses mounting. Creditors circled, demanding asset sales. The Gary Hart, Richard's cradle. Alex faced the board, voice steel-clad. We sell nothing. We innovate. He unveiled Project Aurora, AI mills self-repairing, predictive against disasters, steel sinks apex. Skeptics scoffed, but prototypes hummed, pulling contracts from coastal grids battered by storms. Jordan's mural graced the launch, auroras dancing over forges, symbolizing rebirth. Personal tides turned too. Maya's checkups revealed twins, boy and girl, a double blessing doubling awe. Jordan's glow drew stares at markets, strangers cooing, bigots glaring, fuel for his fire. He channeled it into a Horizon-funded art therapy program for queer parents, workshops in Pilsen where strokes healed scars. Alex joined sessions, paint-smeared, unburdening Richard's specter. Failure was his fear, not my fate. Winter birthed the babes in a flurry of snow and scalpels. Luca and Riley Reyes Harlan, tiny fists waving like victors. The brownstone transformed, cribs carved from reclaimed steel, mobiles spinning stories. Fatherhood crashed over Alex like a breaker, sleepless feeds, diaper dashes, Jordan's exhausted grins amid midnight colics. Their love reshaped, quick naps entwined with infants between, passion stolen in laundry folds, a glance across chaos speaking volumes. "We're a forge now," Jordan quipped, nursing Riley, Luca gnawing Alex's thumb. "Hammering out miracles." Corporate rebound synced with domestic rhythm. Aurora's rollout stabilized stocks, accolades pouring. Fast Company's Innovator of the Year for Alex, a MacArthur for Jordan's community weaves. They keynote at Davos, twins and slings, preaching inclusive futures, steel bends for all. Back home, routines rooted deep, Sundays at the dunes, sandcastles crowning family forts. Yet growth invites envy. A former exec, bitter over oustings, sued for defamation, dredging old Kane scandals with queerbait twists. The trial loomed, tabloids feasting on the queer dynasty's dirt. Stress etched Alex, snapping at whimpers. Jordan, postpartum raw, withdrew into sketches. Fracture lines appeared. Arguments over nannies versus knights, empire versus hearth. "You're choosing the tower again." Jordan hurled, Luca wailing chorus. Alex deflated. "I'm scared of losing it all." Healing brewed in mediation. Family therapy with a queer elder, circles closing wounds. They recommitted, date nights at hidden jazz dives, bodies rediscovering in hotel hush, away from cries. Jordan's touch reignited flames. Slow, sensual, lips mapping stretch marks like sacred texts. "These are our map. Follow it home." Release was renewal, binding tighter. The suit crumbled, perjury exposed, settlement sealing lips. Horizon emerged in scathe, philanthropy surging. Riley Luca grants for queer families, mills as community hubs. Alex reflected in annual letters. From one man's failure, a world's worth of yes. Years folded like bellows, expanding the Harlan Reyes saga into legend etched in steel and story. Luca and Riley, now 7, romped the brownstone with feral joy. Luca's wild curls channeling Jordan's fire, Riley's thoughtful gaze echoing Alex's depths. Mornings chorused with pancakes and physics puzzles. Evenings tales of Grandpa Richard's Dragon Mills, sanitized for tender ears. Horizon sprawled global. Outposts in Monterey honoring Jordan's roots. Berlin fabs pioneering queer coders. Alex, at 35, chaired with seasoned grace. Jordan's designs the aesthetic spine, logos pulsing like heartbeats. Challenges evolved, subtler. Board succession debates, where Alex championed diverse slates, clashing with legacy holdouts. Blood isn't blueprint, he'd argue, Jordan nodding from the gallery link, twins doodling agendas. Wins stacked, carbon neutral by 2040, alliances with indigenous stewards in Navajo Nation. But personal currents swirled. Luca's schoolyard taunt, "Your dads are weird," stirred old embers. Jordan seethed, Alex soothed. Family nights at the center, role plays turning pain to power. Weird is wizard. Jordan spun, sketching capes from capes. Riley's curiosity bloomed queer-tinged. Crushes on a classmate blurring lines, prompting kitchen confessions. Alex knelt, heart full. "Love's a spectrum, kiddo. Yours is valid." Jordan added, "and fierce." They navigated with therapists and tomes, fortifying home as haven. Intimacy, tempered by time, reignited in stolen weekends. Door County cabins, lakeside lofts where bodies, softer now, found familiar fires. Jordan's hands, sure as ever, eliciting shudders. Alex's whispers, seasoned with gratitude. "Still my revolution." A seismic shift quaked when Richard's estranged sister, Aunt Clara, long vanished to Florida condos, surfaced, contesting the will's fringes, claiming moral lapses, invalidated bequests. The suit dragged, dredging diaries. Richard's coded confessions of his own hidden loves, a mill-hand's ghost. Alex unearthed them in the tower's vault, pages yellowed with regret. Reading aloud to Jordan by firelight, tears traced truths. He was like us, trapped. The trial pivoted on those words, Clara folding under authenticity's weight, leaving a olive branch, shares gifted, anti-thawing over Zoom with grandkids. Triumphs tempered hubris. A cyber breach hit Aurora, data hemorrhaging to rivals. Alex's war room hummed, Jordan diagramming defenses with artistic flair. They repelled, emerging with fortified code, Reyes encryption, patented pride. Media crowned them, the unbreakable pair, docs charting their arc from bridge to boardroom. Philanthropy peaked, the Harlan Reyes Foundation, endowing queer archives in Chicago's libraries, mills as makerspaces for trans youth. Luca interned summers, welding whimsy, Riley coded compassion apps. Alex's memoirs, Ghosted lightly, flew off shelves. Failures forge, a son's claim. Proceeds to shelters. Jordan's exhibit, bent light, toward MoMA, canvases of their union abstract and aching. At 40, Alex reflected on the tower roof, Jordan beside, city a constellation below. From failure to this. Jordan leaned in, kissed salt-kissed. From fracture to family. Twins scampered up, demanding stories. Alex spun the original, rainy bridge, defiant stand, love's long arc. Legacy lived in lives touched. A Gary kid, out and outfitted, apprenticed under Luca, a Berlin coder, Riley's mentee, patenting dreams. Horizon bent worlds, sustainable, inclusive, unbreakable. In Quiet Coda, Alex penned Richard's epitaph edition. He bent, so we might soar. Etched on the family plot, under autumn oaks, it whispered closure. Theirs was no fairy tale, but forge work, hot, hammering, human. And in that heat, meaning gleamed. Love redeems, failure forges, families choose. The end. No, horizons endless, bending ever toward light.